Good evening.
Good evening.
Today's video, well, gonna be like myself, but we completed the house. For Mum.
We are out of the contaminated
We
house
are into
completely. Never have to go back in there again. You will be hearing Violet play.
Also, there is a surprise for tomorrow. Yeah, a very special surprise.
Something is happening.
That I'm sure you will all be very happy to hear.
Wow, we'll be happy to report.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this has been a long time.
Yeah,
In
we've wanted this
making.
for a long time.
Absolutely. So, there you go. So, something big's happening tomorrow.
So tune in and find out soon tomorrow.
Okay, and yeah, so again, today we are out of the contaminated house completely. So, nothing else left to do at all. So, today you guys got to work on some of your stuff, so that was exciting. I couldn't though, so I still
And she had to do a lot of work.
a lot of paperwork. Yeah, absolutely. So the excuse me, we're vlogging here.
She's like, what?
That's fine. You do that. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, a lot to do there. Essentially, it's just a matter of being prepared. And we'll let you know how all of that goes, because obviously when you exit a house because it's contaminated, there's more stuff you need to follow up on there, and it's not just as easy as it should be.
Yeah, because you have to decontaminate all the stuff, like cleanse it, then wipe it just in case. But then you can bring it in. And I'm feeling so much better than if I was at the other house.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, you have to prioritize
Your health.
It is shocking to me that a real estate company can try and bully you into actually being in a state of unhealth and actually getting really sick just because they want to, or because of the money. So it's a shocker, and obviously I'm going to be following up on that, not just for the circumstance that we found ourselves in, but actually because other people are experiencing these circumstances too. They go into a rental thinking that they're going to be able to build a home there.
Or just being able to stay there for the amount of time they need to, because they moved out. Maybe their circumstance was they moved out of a place like that, and then they just moved straight back in. They bought new stuff, and then you have to go all over again to a new house and buy more new stuff.
Yeah. So there's many different scenarios, but essentially, what is not okay is when, for instance, the real estate have stated that there is nothing that they would be willing to do because we are, according to them, allergic to violet. It has been established that we're not. However, because they have a reason for believing that their own story, and that's money, they're essentially going down a path that is really actually dangerous for the health
of the people,
anyone
the animals, there could be
who
babies,
lives. It could be a baby, and the next person, because there's so much silence around all of this, and because the people I've spoken to, when they've moved house, they haven't had the energy to do anything else. And while my energy is going to be into our projects and everything else, I will be following up on this, because it is not acceptable that people feel like it is just a daily practice to bully someone into actually staying in a dangerous situation. And that's all it is. When you're endangering yourself through ill health, that is a dangerous situation, and it's not livable, and it's not acceptable.
For anyone, but especially these types of people, like the older people, they just think, okay, the real estate, they might think, okay, the real estate said it's okay, so I'm just going to live here because this is the only place I can find.
Yeah.
And then people, mums with young children who then think it's too hard to move and I'm pretty sure it's fine because they said it was fine. Basically anyone
That's right.
who thinks that, it's dangerous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when they keep
Just
saying
sad
you're
that
fine,
happens
not
to
fine.
people.
You're just allergic to your cat. What if they
sad.
put their cat back because they thought they were allergic to the cat?
Yeah, there's many situations, and it's not just that. It's also when you're dealing with people like this, they bully you into then saying, "Oh, we'll put you on a blacklist, so you won't be able to rent anywhere else because we have the authority to do that." So there's many different things that they'll threaten people with, including me, us, with regards to getting ourselves out of a dangerous situation. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that isn't going to clear itself up immediately, but it's also very important to me morally that this won't stand. So I understand that right doesn't always win, but I'll definitely not stop just at me. I'm going to really find out more about why there is not a clear path to solve a situation like this, and why the real estate is given so much leeway to actually put in bullying behaviours. Because while I and we have been given, just through family, while we have been given the opportunity to, that's okay, while we have been given the opportunity to remove ourselves from that dangerous situation, another lady I was speaking to online didn't have the funds to move. She listened to the real estate. She was bullied by the real estate,
and then she didn't move, and then she got sick.
She didn't move. She stayed in there for an additional 6 months after she realised that she was properly sick, and 2 years on, still sick. I've heard about this in passing. I really, when I was younger, was of the understanding that these things sort themselves out because people can see that that's clearly right, that's clearly wrong, so there'll be something in place for that. But unfortunately,
that's not how it works.
That's not actually how it works. And while we're in a position to have actually accidentally vlogged all of the situations we were in for the last month, that's not what other people are in. Plus we also, obviously the doctor was part of us deciding that we really had to move on from that situation. So we're in a situation where we have all these advantages. We're still caught with having barely anything, but at least we're out of the dangerous situation.
First we have to find out what it is. Then we have to find out what we can keep, what we can throw out.
Well, that's part of the research, but also the follow-up that I have to do, because essentially it's very likely, based on what I've read, that they do not need to find out the contaminant. So they could rent out the house to another person without telling them. So this is what I'm following up on. So I need to find out from a procedural, you reckon?
Yeah.
Procedural, legislative point of view, what is acceptable, what we can find out, what we probably won't find out, which means it's possible all that stuff will have to go and be thrown. But to me, I understand and really enjoy the idea of capitalism. I do. I want to have a business. I like the idea of working and having a goal and getting ahead. But what I don't want to do is ever have any kind of model in making money where I am putting someone at risk or in anything that compromises them so that I can make
So
money.
then
So when it gets to this point is when
That's
it's not.
the point where you stop.
It has to be, and there has to be clear guidelines. So it's very possible that there are more ways through, and there have been guidelines put in place, but they haven't been made clear to me, even with the research and all the phone calls I've made so far.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be looking up more on that. It is taking time, and it will take time.
Yeah.
But what I need to do now that as I get older is when I see a problem like this, it's important that I at least address it head on, say what can be done, what will be done, is there awareness, and then move along from there.
Yeah,
So
and get like a whole list of things you need
that's
to do,
right.
people you need to call, things you need to find out,
Absolutely.
and then you got to write down the numbers if they
Yeah.
suggest someone. Then you just got to keep calling, figuring it out.
Absolutely. Because the next person matters as much as we matter. So does the next person.
And the next person, and the next person.
And so it's really important to me, myself, to know that I have done everything possible to protect the person who would be going into the situation that we just escaped. Because it's something that I think all of us should feel a responsibility for. We are all, not responsible for each other, but we all are living in a place where we're just trying to all get along. And when you know that someone's about to step somewhere that takes them backwards, it's
And
Yeah.
what if these people that move in can't afford to move out, can't move out because of a reason, and then they are stuck to stay there, getting more sick if they're already sick, just getting sick if they're normal, and then
And so the other part of it is there's the owner, there's the property manager, and then there's us. We don't know what the owner knows. So I'm aware that there are laws being changed in Queensland. They are in the process of being changed in Queensland. More freedoms for pet owners. And when it comes to actually being able to contact the owner, because that house was also fairly new. So it's very possible that this situation is actually long-term really also. If you put aside the human factor, it's also going to hurt the owner's investment. So they might have, the building is most probably under some sort of insurance, some sort of builder's insurance. So that's something that they could take advantage of. So it's not that we want anyone to lose out or that we're after anyone. It's simply a matter of that environment is dangerous for all of us. Like, I understand, Taylor, you're allergy prone. You get hay fever wherever you are. Your allergies in that house were the highest they have ever been in your entire life. And they got progressively worse, especially towards the end. We don't even have allergies with regards to environmental stuff or food. We were really bad by the end of it. My asthma, I haven't had asthma properly since I was a child. Wow. By the end of it, the wheeze has only really just gone this afternoon from me leaving the place today, and I wore a mask the whole time. So imagine a baby in that house. That's not okay.
If you saw one of our earlier kind of vlogs, when it was still in that situation, we were trying to get out of that situation. Mum had a super wheezy voice, and we had to be very quick.
Yeah.
And then Mum had to quickly take her medicine, everything, and all I can think is I don't want a baby to go into that house because anyone because especially a baby because it's easier for them to have way worse effects than us with that. Their immune system's weaker. They could get a clogged throat or or like with the
Whooping cough.
asthma thing, they might.
They wouldn't contract whooping cough.
I
in
don't
the
know.
house.
Yeah. That they couldn't go on the same medications as some of us because some of us they have to be older to actually take the medicine.
Yeah.
So
Like
yeah,
sometimes it's like
hard.
1 year plus, and then it's like 5 year plus everything. And if they're like a newborn or something, that's probably not
Yeah.
as dangerous.
Yeah, so it's going to take time, but I think it's an important thing to at least put myself into. It'll take away time from projects that I'm working on that are also very important to me. But this is also something in the community where we live. It's 5 minutes away from here. And it's full of families near a school, and it's not good enough. So essentially, that's a lot of what I was doing today. So I also did because some of it can be quite stressful when you're dealing with an agency who just bullies their way through. It is sometimes very stressful. So in those moments, I took some time, especially when I was on hold, and I worked on some crochet today because we're in the fresh house, so I can bring crochet out and it's fresh and not contaminated. It was in the package, so it felt good.
Mum made this really pretty, what is it called again? Shawl.
It was a shawl. I haven't finished it,
No.
but then we like wrapped it around you and did the whole.
You can make it as a shirt.
You can, and then we tied it around the back.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of.
yeah,
That's
so
pretty
it just made me feel good because I haven't been able to crochet, which is my stress reliever. So I haven't been able to do that throughout this entire very stressful situation because I couldn't bring anything out into this environment. Not this, but the previous environment. And then I had to make sure that anything that came out was in a clean environment, so it had to be kept very separate from that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's beautiful. I love it.
If it gets much tighter, I might be choking.
Well, yeah, don't choke yourself. Yeah, so it just feels nice and warm. It's like a big cuddle when you wear shawls. I love them. And I don't have to think about it. There's no real thing. I just imagine it in my mind, and then the shape comes out.
What I do is I just steal everything Mum creates. So this is a good one to steal.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna steal that one.
Yeah, well,
I'm
luckily
happy
a
for that.
few more of these are going to be created, so each one of us can have one.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's a big day, and there's a lot of really serious stuff, but also
A lot of really nice stuff.
there were some creations that we obviously can't say much about, but really great work today, like hours of work from you guys.
And
Amazing.
we are all super excited for tomorrow's surprise. It's a big change in our life.
We've been waiting a long time.
Yeah,
for
we
this.
really want this.
And it's
I'm
gonna
not
it's actually
sure
it's gonna
how
be a
violent we'll
transition.
like it.
It's gonna be a transition. But we'll see. Anyway, you'll see too.
Okay,
Cool.
we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Make sure you like and subscribe and click the notifications bar to see all notifications. We hope you enjoyed the video. We're just growing into it.
And feel free to share on the socials. We still haven't got a map, but we should get a map soon. I haven't been able to clean it because I don't want it to get I don't want it to get really faded. So I'm just looking into different ways to clean it.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry.
See you in the morning. See you in the morning.
See you in the morning.